discussed this and that with the president.
Now that pikes our curiosity.
There must be some etiquette in this country on matters like this. Because it's not an easy issue. Okay, a conversation with the president is held in confidence. And where we agreed that it should be communicated, he was the host, so it is his presidential press service that made the communication.
Let me tell you what I'm looking for, Party, and I respect your view on this one. When a media outlet states the president meets opposition leaders to get them to confirm, for example, to support Raila Odinga as the presidential candidate. That's what one publication went with. I wanted to give you a chance to clarify if there's any truth.
There was no truth in that. It was false.
That was a false headline.
Yes, and I made it public. In fact, you covered me. This is the media house here, covered me when I issued a statement jointly with Kalonzo and Wetangula, and we said there was no such conversation.
So just to get this on the record, there are no boardroom deals. 2022 is still wide open. We will not be...
It is wide open. It is the voter. And we need to make the vote count. We need to make every Kenyan's vote count. All right? If we continue to perpetuate some rumors about boardroom engagements, you are going to create voter apathy. You're going to create the mentality that there's a rigging process or mechanism being put in place. I don't think that is healthy for this country. We are just about to embark on mass voter registration. Let that come out smoothly, and let the IEBC be adequately equipped, both financially, technologically, and in terms of human resource, so that Kenyans can vote and their vote must count.
Okay, fair enough. I want us to switch gears a little bit. And we've been seeing some interesting activities around you and your party over the last couple of days and weeks. Your deputy party leader, Ayub Savula, we recently saw him at the EACC together with Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, and he made an interesting statement just outside those revolving doors. Let's listen to that.
We are quoting Anne Waiguru as ANC. I'm here as the deputy party leader. We don't want this governor to be intimidated by anybody. We know it's because of politics. We know in Central it's so difficult to sell a certain political party and a certain individual who is contesting for presidency. We are quoting her. That's why we are here. You have to quote a girl. Pole, 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 pole. That's why you are standing in solidarity with her as ANC. Don't tell us Vitu Ruto.
Are you quoting Governor Anne Waiguru as your potential running mate?
No. Let me put it this way. We are not quoting any specific person for the running mate. We are open. We are looking at it openly, and that was Savula. In his peak of excitement, he made his comments. I asked him, and he said there were personal statements, although he may have made some reference to the ANC, because no such commitment has been made.
Are you worried that your deputy party leader would go on camera and make such weighty statements without consulting you?
I have talked to him about it, because that was not even a party meeting. He says he was there in solidarity as an individual. There was no other party official there, was there?
And not to the best of my knowledge?
No, there wasn't.
So you disown his statements, they are not the position of the party this evening?
It was his personal statement.
So what are your requirements for a running mate? You've told us you're on the ballot. You're not playing second fiddle to anyone. What is Musalia Mudavadi looking for in a running mate?
You'd be looking for integrity. Okay? You'd be looking for an individual, male or female, whom you can actually work with, where your chemistries can work. Okay? In fact, I was asked this particular question not too long ago, and I said, this is what Kenya needs. Because you cannot have a situation where the two topmost people, a president and the deputy president, are working at cross purposes. All right? So when looking for this, you must look at somebody that you can work with, somebody with integrity, somebody that you believe you will not be looking over your shoulder if you're moving to some other assignment. There has to be trust that ensues because of that partnership. So it behoves on us as Kenyan people to take the issue of identifying a running mate much more seriously than we may have taken it in the past.
Has President Uhuru Kenyatta spent his time looking over his shoulder? Is that the example you are alluding to?
I think he has had a rough time, let's face it. Yeah, there's nothing to hide here. I mean, it's in the public domain. Their first 5 years were okay. There was a lot of synergies that we were seeing. But the second half, it doesn't take rocket science to know that there have been challenges.
So how do you handle this? And there are lessons learned from history. They say history is a very important teacher because it tends to repeat itself.
Yes.
Will you pick a running mate who doesn't have ambitions? Or how will you manage those ambitions as you seek your legacy if Kenyans give you that approval next year?
You know, one of the qualities of even a deputy or a running mate is that you must be able to manage your ambition. I'm not saying that people should not be ambitious. Politics is also driven by ambition. Mm-hmm. The desire to serve and the ambition to move forward to influence decisions. So there's nothing wrong in having an ambitious individual. But how does that individual manage their ambition? Now, Shakespeare once said that if you want to jump onto a horse, make sure that you manage that ambition well, because if you overdo it, you'll find yourself on the other side of the horse. All right? So this is the message that we have to put across. Let us manage our ambitions.
Speaking of your ambitions,
let us learn to respect each other. I mean, can you imagine if you're in in other countries, maybe the US, where we have a presidential system, more or less the constitution we adopted, Biden and his deputy having tiffs and all that. It will undermine public delivery of services. It could even trickle down to the security agencies in a fragile economy like ours and a fragile democracy like ours. So we have to be very careful.
I need to take a short break, but before we get to that, speaking of ambitions, you've actually spent an inordinate amount of time in central Kenya this year, from Meru, you name it. I believe possibly 10, 15, 20 visits at a time like this. What's the end game of these movements?
That is, let's face it, these are very enlightened Kenyans, very strong on the ballot.
Mount Kenya residents?
Yes, the whole region. They have, remember, you're talking of a region that has produced 3 presidents. All right? So their level of political awareness and issues has got to be taken very, very seriously. So we are moving there. I am moving there because it is a vote-rich area. These are people who have had a lot of wealth of experience in governments, and it would be important to work with them.
Are you talking about their leaders or the people? The
even
people
the people.
Been in government.
No, even the people. Waihiga, let me tell you this. Let us not pretend that there's no advantage in a region if it can produce 3 presidents in a row. Let us not pretend. There are certain advantages, certain awarenesses that come with that.
For example?
Let's look at the participation in public service. Let us look at the entrepreneurial skills. They don't just sprout out. They come out of years of building and understanding what public issues are. So let us give them that credit, all right? So let us listen to them. There's a wealth of experience there. And then there are votes there. But more important also is that, do you know, they are now more or less coming to a situation close to what we have had. You know, when you do not have a candidate.
That you're talking about Western Kenya, so
yes.
Mount Kenya now is looking a lot like Western Kenya.
Yes, when you do not have a candidate on the ballot, it can become very hard to marshal the support in that region. So here is something they might learn from us.
Okay, I will ask more after this break. Let's take that short break. Do we have that clip by the nominated MP, Godfrey Osotsi? Yes, let's play just a little bit of it before we take the break, then we'll come back with that. If we have that clip ready, remember 22422 is the SMS line, hashtag is Newsnight. But before we take that break, here was a message from Godfrey Osotsi to the ANC party leader a couple of days ago. This is what he warned him.
Niko na ushahidi na mimi siogopi kusema, na hili ni jambo ambalo limekuwa ndani ya roho yangu, kwamba tuna wabunge fulani ambao wanajifanya wanakutetea, wanaongea kwa bidii sana sana, wana-attack sana Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Hawa viongozi si wa ukweli, kwa sababu mchana wako na wewe, usiku wa kwa William Ruto, na hawa tunawajua. Mheshimiwa Malala, wewe ukiongea vibaya kwa Ruto, unapiga simu unaambiwa.
Are there moles in the ANC camp? That's what we'll find out from the ANC party leader. Plus, we'll read your feedback as well on the other side of this break. You're watching Newsnight.